lot to me and Mickey and my brother Jim, and, you know, John and Linda were such a part of my life. We're from a family of 6 kids. John and I were closest in age. We actually were all 2 years apart, but we grew up in the same bedroom and kind of did everything together, and John included me in everything. I had said this before, that when he was in high school and I was adolescent and overweight and a nerd, and he was like the stud, he always let me come along with him and never excluded me, never. I mean, he was always, I was tagging along with him, and he never, I mean, I'm sure there was a couple times he said, but he was always inclusive and always supportive. Same thing with golf. When we golfed together, he was a much better golfer than I was, but he was always encouraging to my golf. And I missed him last week when we played, because we always shared a cart together, and I hadn't played 18 holes in almost a year. And he was always my cart mate, and I missed him a lot. So I still miss him all the time. And everybody comes and always says, when they talk about John, they say, what a great guy. He was just a good guy. And he was. And the funny thing was, and when I tell people, when he was young, like high school age, he was a fighter. He would, but he didn't go picking fights. But if he saw somebody else picking on somebody else, he was in there.
Yeah. And he was fast. He was really fast.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
And I tell people as I go, in fact, when we moved here like 6 years, almost 6 years after John Lind moved here. And I had a guy come out measuring for blinds and all that. And then he saw the name, and he goes, that's kind of an unusual name. Are you related to John? I said, yeah, John's my brother. He goes, that guy doesn't have a mean bone in his body. and it was, you know, he treated everybody. John Swain always told him at the shop. He always said that, John, you're too nice to everybody. And John would always say, my brother John would always say, like John Swain says, no good deed goes unpunished. But anyway, I really appreciate everybody coming out. A tradition with all our golf buddies and friends is John liked to do a tequila shot. So Ben and Tommy have been nice enough to bring a bottle of tequila and a bunch of little glasses so everybody can. And I think there's some bourbon too. I think.
Well, if we have to, we'll do it.
Twist your arm.
We'll do it.
Oh, yeah. I know it's hard for you to choke this stuff down. But anyway, and if you don't drink, there's plenty of water. But anyway, thanks again. If anybody wants to share a story or anything, I know that you've been sharing stories all night. I will share one. When John started working at McBride, Ben was the service manager. And for those of you that don't know Ben was John's partner at the pro shop that they opened together. And Linda had to get a hold of John and called, and Ben asked for the service part. Ben answered it, and she said, is John there? And he goes, yeah. Is this his wife? And Linda goes, you mean he's married?
That's classic Linda.
For those of you that didn't know Linda had a small, kind of a small circle. But if you got in there, she was a riot. She was fun. And they were little pranksters. When we were going through the house, after they both passed away and we were cleaning stuff up, we found all these little notes everywhere. They would leave these little notes everywhere. It was really sweet.
And John saved all this.
Yeah, he saved it.
Little box.
We found this box and it had all these little notes that Linda had, and some of them were like, stupid.
take this, what, elementary school picture to his driver's
Oh,
license.
That's
right.
Yeah. Actually, Linda had cut out a picture of Austin Powers and glued it onto his driver's license. He got stopped at a checkpoint, and he pulled his wallet out, I was like, oh my God. And the officer says, let me see your license, he goes, officer, you're not gonna believe it. And the officer looked at him and said, get out of here.
We've been in Mexican restaurant.
You're a Connell or
Yeah, I am, yes.
Yeah, which John was
I'll do
really,
one for both my husband.
yeah, actually thankful
Chicken.
for because they had
Got one
had
for
a
me.
couple of drinks.
Yeah.
You
He was a
ordered
little
up.
nervous when he saw
Hey,
that.
we're closed doors. You got one?
I think she's got one for me, thanks.
So anyway, as they're pouring,
Oh, I thought you
let them get that.
You and
Anybody else
I'm just gonna-
they wanna say?
I'm gonna do it in, thank you very much.